Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you Maensen versus Tarsh in round 1 of the 4th Asia Pacific tournament. Of course, this is the 1 division tournament, so today we are going to be seeing Minson with the 2nd Armoured French Division, that's his choice, and Tosh is choosing the Panzer for this tournament. Very interesting choice indeed. This is Carpiquet Duellists, and I would expect that Tosh was the one who chose this map after the bans, as it definitely suits him moving into Phase B and C. However, we've got a very stark contrast in that the 2nd Armoured French is probably one of the strongest Phase A and B divisions, and then the Panzer is most certainly not. It's probably one of the weakest Phase A and B divisions. So yeah, it's interesting. Tosh is going to have to be careful that he doesn't get overrun early on and lose his side of the airfield, because if he does, there isn't really much coming back from that, no matter how many good tanks he has in the forms of Panthers or Tigers or whatever. Yeah, it's going to be very hard to dislodge that French infantry and stop himself from being hit by AT guns at close range, which is really what can counter the heavier armor that he has. At range, it's not so much an issue. Like a lot of the tanks that the 2nd Armoured French have will not be capable of penetrating the Panzer armor in the late game. Like the M10s at max range won't be able to kill Panthers. Nothing can kill the King Tiger, except from like a bazooka or a side shot from an AT gun. So yeah, there's definitely going to be big issues for the 2nd Armoured in the later phases, unless he can get a lot of work done in Phase A. Let's see what's going down here. See how Tarsh is going to deal with that early game, and also Minson as well. I really like the investment in the M10 here. I think that's a very wise choice. He will want to be finding the kills onto any Pumas that are brought in early on. And the M10 is a great way to do that, because it does have the 1,200 meter range that really it can take advantage of in order to kill those Pumas before they can even fire back. There is going to be some infantry here also heading towards the center of the map. I think it's always important to have at least one infantry squad on the airfield hidden in one of these bushes so that you don't lose ground that way. On this top side, it's going to be 2 units of infantry. We've got the M8 Scott, and there's going to be the WC-52 with the like Pioneers in there. On the bottom side, it's going to be an AT gun, and then 1 gun there, and again some more infantry. It looks like voltages for the most part, rather than Nueve. On the side of Tarsh, it's going to be a double AT gun start at the bottom. That's 2 Pak 38s, and we have a Panzer Grenadier squad, another Panzer Gren heading towards the mid with another Pak 38. There's also another Panzer Gren there, and Panzer Gren, and 2 AT guns for the top side. Wow. Wow, indeed. That is 5 Pak 38s deployed at the start here for Tosh. Extremely defensive, but I'm not quite sure how that's going to work against Minson. He's got the M10 that can engage at 1,200 meter range, and therefore the Pak 38s can be picked off before they even fire. Same deal with the Pumas. Now, Piper Cub has been brought in. We're seeing all of the recon aircraft these days. I think there's like 4 different recon aircraft like these in the game, and I think we've seen them all in this tournament so far. So yeah, here's the Piper Cub, guys, and that's going to be spotting a lot of these AT guns early on. Let's see exactly what it finds. Look at that waypointing there. Very nice there from Minson. Not going to have to bother with commanding that. Just going to have it fly around in circles to try and find targets. Well, I like the way that Tarsh has held this behind the hangar. Keeping it in like a ambush position is very good, so he can just roll it out and fire when he needs it. But these ones in the top side here are much more out in the open. And Maensen probably can't believe his eyes right now, seeing 3 Pak 38s early on. Now, one thing with the second armoured is they have to rely on sort of infantry mortars. They don't have like an M21 MMC. So it's going to be very hard to take out 3 AT guns with an M10 because you're probably going to run out of ammunition. So unless Minson here is prepared to like bring in supply early on, then he's not going to have something to kill these AT guns. Not for very long anyway. He might get a few shots off, but probably not enough to kill all the Pak 38s at least. Tosh is going to know that he's been spotted. This Piper Cub, or any recon aircraft, always can spot AT very easily, whether it's in cover or not, mainly because of its size. But yeah, there's a good chance that Maensen here doesn't even have any supply in Phase A. Tosh has afforded himself a Gepard. Going to be bringing that up early on. Just going to try and force back this recon aircraft if he can. Then he can reposition his Pak 38s and get prepared for any push that's going to come out of Maensen. Now the other thing that I failed to talk about so far is this M8. This M8 Scott, in a similar way where you use like a 1,200 meter range 105mm Sherman against like a Flak 88, you can use a 1,000 meter range M8 versus a 1,000 meter range Pak 38. You can still do the same fire position trick, and that's definitely something I would like to see moving forwards in this match. He's got to try and clean up these Pak 38s. He had all the information he needed, but maybe he's just being scared off here. It seems like he's been playing very, very passively indeed, and that's not what you want to do against the Panzerlehr. You want to be proactive, especially in Phase A and Phase B, where the Panzerlehr is a lot weaker than you are as the French. You have 100 points per minute when they only have 75. That's a huge difference, especially early on. Now 251 here is going to be running down these voltages. It looks like they may get surrendered because there isn't really anything to stop that from happening unless this AT gun gets involved. But that's going to have to move back or move forwards a little bit more, I think. This Pak 38 going to be opening up onto the M5 half track. That's gone. And in the mid, we can see another half track in the Gepard there, forcing back these voltages. So Tosh getting aggressive and really making ground in the early game when he probably shouldn't be able to. He is going to find the surrender there, I think. Yep, he does. And that's going to open up a nice salient for him, whether or not his half track goes down or not, since his other infantry and units are moving up with him. Now the M10 has come out in the mid, going to be trying to stop the advance of that half track there. Maybe save his vultures in the mid at least from being surrendered. But a +1 for the Panzerlehr in Phase A, not something that you'd really want to see on the side of the French. 57mm mortar, going to be taking its sweet time to take out this 251. M8 Greyhound has been brought up alongside an M8 Scott. Please fire position these. I really want to see Minson do so. Like, I can understand waiting for reinforcements, like especially on this top side. Like, he's building up a lot of half tracks. He's brought in the 81mm mortar. As long as he gets the job done before the end of Phase A, he should be fine. But the main objective here for the French should be to get a foothold into these hangars on the other side of the airfield. And I feel like with the units that he has in play, the M8 Scots and the M10s, and this mortar, it should be more than enough to take on whatever the Panzerlehr can throw at you in Phase A. So this is currently Maenson's game to lose. If he can't get the job done, then Tosh is just going to start reinforcing. He might even be able to save up at this rate for a big tank in Phase B, and then that just makes things incredibly difficult to cross this airfield. Like, if a Tiger came in, if he managed to save up 240 points, for example, which brings in a Tiger at the start of Phase B, like, that's just going to be absolutely devastating. This Puma is able to do work on this top side. That's not being countered effectively at all. So, yeah, it's interesting how passive Minson's being. Maybe he is unaware of the fire position trick. That could be one thing. Maybe he's just not confident that his push would work out. But yeah, I think like a focus in the mid and getting a foothold on Tarsh's side of the map is the only way that you win this game versus the Panzerlehr on this specific map. Like, this open ground is a real wet dream for things like Tigers and Panthers, but it is definitely not so much for an M10 that is going to have to go up against them. And the longer you wait, the more likely that is to actually occur. You can see this 57mm mortar going to be mortared by the 257 half-track out of Tosh. M5A1 has found itself in front of 2 AT guns, so that's going to go down, but the Nueve are going to be alive. 81mm mortar needs to get to work. Is going to be ordered to fire position, so good to see that finally happening. Nueve pushing across the open here. This, again, this is exactly what you want to do. He's got the first part right. Just run your infantry across the airfield. If anything then tries to contest, that's when you bring out the M10 and tell them no. That's how you got to do it. M8 here is going to be pinning the Panzergrenz there as well. M8 or 81mm mortar. That's going to be directly hit by this Puma. There's got to be an AT gun coming in. Yes, there is. Okay, that's good. And there's also what looks like, I think, a bazooka squad coming in as well. So that's good. Just got to, you know, stay hidden until you get that 57mm AT gun into position, and then he can play around with his M8 Scott and 81mm mortar once again. There's not really much point in mortaring the Puma, since you will have it covered off with the AT gun. It'd be better off trying to focus on these Panzergrenz that you've seen pin down your Nueve previously, for example. But either way, yeah, 257 has cleaned up the AT gun on this bottom side. There is another Nueve down here, but ground's still not being made, and the time's ticking. 50 seconds left until Phase B. Very, very passive game so far. You can see that Tosh has been poking, which I like to see, especially getting aggressive with those half-tracks onto the voltages. Really, really nice play, actually, early on. He definitely exploited the fact that Minson had neglected his voltages and almost allowed them to die. So that was good, just, you know, poking holes in Minson's defense. But, yeah, there's a big build-up of forces. Will Minson do anything about it? He has managed to kill off one of the Pak 38s down here. But it looks like this Pak 38 won't be dealt with. And there's now a Puma. This Puma will not be countered. This M10, the strongest unit that he has in Phase A, has been sitting on this side of the airfield for the entire time. Bring it down to the bottom or the top, anywhere, just not in the mid, where you're not pushing. Allowing that to engage at the 1,200 meter range is incredibly important. It's his biggest asset, and he's not using it. Well, M8 going to go down. Pak 38 can finish off the M5A1 half-track as well. Boom, that's gone. It's unfortunate to see, but it seems like Maensen just not aware of the aggression that he needs to pull off early on in order to win this. And at this point, well, we're now in Phase B. And it's pretty much his last chance, because as soon as we get to Phase C, that kind of goes out the window. His income goes to 115 when Tarsh's goes to 150, which is a very stark difference. Nueve are going to be moving up, but the Puma sniping the M8 is probably a bigger deal. Yeah, just no ground going to be made anytime soon. You can see the arrival of the M4A2 here. An M10 has been purchased and an M3A3. But if a Tiger or a Panther rolls onto the field at this moment in time, Maensen can kiss his victory goodbye as far as I'm concerned, because it's going to be very hard to get into a position to flank those vehicles on a map as open as this, especially if Tosh is using and utilizing his speed troop effectively, which he has 2 squads in very good positions. So it's going to be extremely hard to get AT guns up in his face, like in Tosh's face, if a Tiger arrives. And all that Tosh is going to need to do is push a little +1 and then secure it with those vehicles. Volkwolf 190G3 coming in with the 5 HE power bombs, going to pin down that 57mm AT gun. Not going to do too much damage. Those bombs don't really have too much lethality. They're just really good for pinning down units. Panzergren, well, cleaning up these Nueve. They've really been put in a tough position right now. But what I'd like to see is M4A2 trying to clean up this Puma. Maybe even just going for this Pak 38. Because it's just one way to make ground right now. He's just gotta do it. And at the moment, like, the longer he waits, the more likely it is we're gonna see something that can do even more damage to him. Now, Tosh doesn't even have to be scared up here. This Puma doesn't have to be worried about the Nueve or the voltages approaching him at all. He could have that sit right in their face. It's a closed top unit with a machine gun. I mean, unless the Spitfire manages to pin the Puma, Tosh doesn't need to be worried about that push. And it seems like it's not supported at all. The M8 Scott, not going to be able to stop the Puma from killing it, not without a Sherman or something bigger there. And, well, now we're seeing the M10 start to get aggressive across the airfield. He did lose his half track, I think, to this 2314. And that has provoked him to move the M10 forwards. Maensen has found himself a +1 briefly due to that airfield ground, but the Puma there making short work of the M8 Scott, and honestly has done a lot of damage to these infantry squads on that top side. On the bottom, Panzer Grenadiers are going to be mortared by the 81mm mortar, but again, using the mortar now to hit the Puma is questionable, to say the least, especially when he should be keeping track of where this Pak 38 is, and probably looking to mortar that instead, because that would then allow his tanks to take care of this Puma in a much more suitable fashion. Like using the M3A3 and the M10 and the M4A2 here to kill this Puma, why it hasn't happened already kind of makes me worry. I think honestly maybe Minson is putting, I don't know, too much on these Pak 38s. Like, he is thinking that these Pak 38s can hold him back, when honestly they're not even vetted. Like, they don't have 1-star veterancy, so they're not even that accurate to begin with. You've got the M10s that can shoot them at 1,200 meter range anyway. Oh yeah, and I even forgot about the M4A3 105 mils you can bring in. So he's even got those to answer to all of this. But the longer he waits, the longer he lets Tosh save for a big unit. And well, Tosh has been saving for a while, as he manages to afford himself a 380 point tank in Phase B when he only has 95 points per minute. This is how little pressure Maensen is putting on Tosh. Huge mistake allowing that to come out onto the field, and I don't think it's going to matter how many M10s he has at this point. It's just not going to get the job done. So let's have a look at how these are moving forwards. Okay, so they're not attack moving, which is bad to start, but as soon as this Pak 38 shows itself, I want to see it just die. But I mean, what's worse than moving up all of these without attack moving is there's no recon here. So he can't really see what he's running himself into, and he's giving Tosh plenty of time to get on target with his Pak 38. Now the Piper Cub, that's going to be going to the top apparently, when most of his tanks are on the bottom side. He's got to focus. It seems like he's being distracted quite a lot. Like, I like the M4A3 up here, and the fact that it's going to kill off these Panzergrens or just make them surrender is really nice. But you don't need the Piper Cub up there right now because he's not pushing. He wants to be pushing on the bottom side. And, like, he wants to do it before he knows about this King Tiger. Because if he can get like a bazooka into one of these buildings, it definitely sort of limits the movement of this Königstiger. But in this case, the Königstiger has got into position, and it's only a matter of time until it gets a shot onto an M10. Here we go. Oh, first shot bailout. What's the next shot gonna be, guys? It's gonna be a kill. Of course it is. Although I kind of expected it to shoot an M10, but I think it was just out of range. Now it's shooting at an M10. Oh, just missing. This is just so... I don't know. Why are these M10s just sitting and allowing the Königstigers to fire? Like, that's not good. The pack that he hates even in range of the M10. I think it's just a lack of experience here across the board for Maensen. Needs to pick up on the matchup. And especially if you're going to pick the second armoured, you got to be aggressive in the early phases. That's like the only way to do it. You can't wait till phase B, especially not against a division like the Panzer. You got to put the pressure on, not allow them to afford something like a Königstiger, and especially not allow it to actually fire at your tanks freely. It's not good. Now, honestly, Minson's making a good choice here. It seems like he's putting a lot of aggression into the top side, where the King Tiger is not. And that is a very good way to work around the King Tiger, in a sense that you will make Tosh waste 380 points if you don't put anything in its way. Yes, okay, it might make ground, but as long as you put all of your resources into the top side, where the 380 points are not, you can make a lot of ground, probably a lot quicker. So this is really what we're seeing Minson take advantage of at the moment. But the main thing that I would like to see him kill right now is his Puma. He's finally utilizing the M10s at 1,200 meter range to hit the Pack 38s. So that's good. And with this M4A3, that's going to start hitting these Panzergrens quite hard. But he's got his infantry covered, and they're going to be moving up. 51% territory lead in favour of Minson. But you just got to keep the M10s in cover, not allow the Königstiger to get those kills. Just fill these buildings with infantry, keep them on return fire, and just hold as long as you can. Because you got to find an ambush onto any of these units in order to get the job done, and at the moment that is far from happening. It looks like Panzergrens may get into these hangars, and what I said Maensen needs to do to Tosh, it looks like Tosh is going to do to Maensen in taking control of his side hangars, and that definitely makes it very hard to come back on, or come back from, on a map like Carpiquet. I mean, I'm all for watching like a King Tiger go to work, but this is absolutely brutal down here. King Tiger just freely rolling forwards, taking pot shots. M10's just got to stay out of the way and just get some sapeurs or something in here that can sit in these buildings and Zuka. I just bring them in from the top side and drive them down. That would be the best way to do it, so that they can avoid line of sight with the Königstiger here along the way. Puma going to be engaging an M10. Nice bailout there onto the Puma. That's good hit. So this is kind of what you want to be doing. Like, well, saying that, he is in line of sight, or was in line of sight of the Königstiger. Yeah, the M10's got to try and use line of sight here to take out these half tracks when he is not in line of sight of the Königstiger. That's like the main way that you want to play around that on the bottom side at least. You can also come in with the bombers. That's another good choice. Just keep the King Tiger pinned. Maybe find a unit to surrender those later on. That's also another good way of doing things. So I like the choice of the bomber here. But the point I've been trying to make throughout the game, I might have been sounding a bit harsh, maybe a bit patronizing, but that's never my intention. But yeah, he didn't want to be in this position in the first place, because now it's going to be extremely hard for him to come back. And I was just trying to detail all of the things that he could have done preemptively to stop this from happening. because it's very likely to on a map like this. Now, like I said, pushing on this top side while the King Tiger's on the bottom, really good idea, because you can see the sappers have made it into these hangars. And if he now reinforces more infantry on this top side, he could maybe push down into the town here and, you know, really cause issues. But again, another King Tiger. Like, he is pushing, but I don't know if he's pushing enough. And a really nice dodge here, actually. Tosh dodged the TNT out of the sappers. Now the sappers are surrendered. If the Panzergrenz jump forwards there, they will get that surrender. Looks like Tosh is just happy with those being mowed down as they run away. So the King Tiger was smoked off. The 232 did go down to the bombing strike. Puma just got taken out there by the M10. Oh, Panzergrenz though. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. Tosh gets into range with the Panzerfaust, finds the kill onto an M10, takes away just that little bit more resistance from Minson, and things are really starting to get ugly. When that King Tiger arrives on this top side, there is going to be nothing left that Minson can do. It's going to just pop these M4A3s, it's going to pop the M10, although it looks like the M10's already been dealt with. The M4A2 is going to go down. Where did that M10 even go? I'm just trying to look for its wreck. Don't know. But M10 dying on the bottom side. King Tiger gets line of sight. Job done. I would like to see maybe some command with the King Tiger. But yeah, I've actually quite liked Tosh's play throughout this game. He got relatively aggressive in the early game with his half-tracks. And really took advantage of Minson being very passive. But I'm not sure moving forwards in the tournament whether he's going to get more chances like it. Königseiger here takes out, or track wheel damage the M4A3. That's going to probably back up straight into those Panzergrenz. Never mind, the King Tiger's claiming that kill. Puma has gone down up here, but yeah, with the King Tiger on the field, probably doesn't matter too much. Nuevik going to be killed off on the bottom side. Again, more ground made for Tosh. It's only a matter of time until a +2 comes into effect and things get very difficult indeed. Tosh unloading these Panzergrenz is very necessary right now. He definitely wants to get in there, maybe put them on return fire so that he can Panzerschreck the M5 half-tracks, but in pinning down the sappers at close range, or at that range, is ideal, especially with his MG42s. Oh, look at those sappers. Oh. Maensen had the idea, but it came a bit too late here. Sappers rolling into these hangars definitely would have helped him out. But yeah, like I said, just a bit too late. King Tiger now cleans up one of the M4A3s on the top side. Now it's taken out this M4A2. It probably needs to be microed a little bit better there, but does find the kill eventually. Now I'm going to be killing off that mortar. Just units falling apart one by one right now. This is just heaven for the Panzerlehr. A Phase C on an open map like this, with 2 King Tigers on the field. In a 1v1 no less. It's crazy stuff. You don't see this very often. So yeah, this King Tiger can just get very aggressive. Maybe one of these bazookas can take it out. We'll have to wait and see. But there's not really too much more Minson can do. Losing his hold to this King Tiger on the top side means he can't reinforce his infantry. And therefore, his objective has just crumbled. Like, that was his only out in this game, was getting infantry into this town to just stop reinforcements and just be a pain in the ass. Because these sappers, really good at close range. He has flamethrower infantry, really good at close range. A lot of stuff that can take on the Panzergrenz that the Panzerlehr can put in, and they have lower infantry availability as it is. So if you put them in that situation, then you're going to have some sort of advantage, and if you can get the job done quick enough, you might just have a conquest lead. And that bomber came in and bombed back the Königseiger up here, but Not really going to do too much in the grand scheme of things, since there is no forces there really firing at those units. It looks like the Panzergrenz in this building were absolutely demolished in the end. Half track is going to get surrendered there, but still a hefty +2 in favour of Tosh. And we see that's 12 minutes and 45 seconds of glory for this Königstiger before the game's end. Yeah, I think yeah, Tosh can definitely just get aggressive on the top side. He's got so much ground here. These units definitely need to be pushing up, and it looks like he's finally doing so. King Tiger in the bottom side is in a bit of a sticky spot in a sense that he doesn't really want to go past these tree lines, since he will maybe get himself side shot. So I can see why you'd be a bit more patient on the bottom here. But 3 units of sappers in the middle. Will they do the job? I don't think they will. There's nothing really here to cover them. Like a mortar with smoke would have been nice. But I think both of his mortars would be dead by now. But yeah, having a couple of those in these hangars will be quite important to controlling the mid. King Tiger though, making short work of that Stuart. I think that was an infantry squad, got really close there. The Panzerfaust just didn't fire, and the M4A2 managing to get the kill. Doesn't look like Tosh was happy about that at all, but nice attempt for sure. I'm not sure he really has too much to complain about at this moment in time though. He's now got a Panther D on the field and a Panzer IV to accompany his 2 Königstigers. Couldn't really be in much of a better position. These Panzergrenz have been pinned on this top side. Not entirely sure what by, I think it must have been the Spitfire. But they haven't revealed the bazookas, so still might see a bazooka shot coming onto the Königstiger. Who knows? Fusilier Marines. They're going to be forced back by these Panzergrenz. M4A2. Going to be trying to fall back. Trying to sneak behind the tree line, or maybe just kill the Panzergrenz. Oh, this M10. It took the wrong path. Wait, what? Why would Tosh reverse that? Oh, he's trying to get onto this M4A2. Fair enough. Save his Panzergrenz squad. Oh, internal fragment. That's very, very nice. And now that is probably a very dead M4A2. Yep, it's gone. Okay, well. Panzergrenz died on this top side. Maybe a bit more infantry up here would be nice to support this King Tiger moving forwards. In the mid though, the Nueve being cleaned up, the Gruppe Spy, they are probably going to remain hidden, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys can see this has been over for a very long time now. Jagdpanzer taking on this M4A2, not a very good engagement either for Minson, and it's just the trouble with the French in the late game is they really just struggle to penetrate anything with these M10s. They can at close range. Like, don't get me wrong, some of the high vet Shermans you can get work really well at close range. Like, you can just get them into like this town area. You'd win any day, even against Panthers and stuff. But like at this sort of range, like the 600 meter plus, no chance. Absolutely no chance, especially with like forward facing armor. And we did see one unit go down there to the M4A2, but yeah, the Jagdpanzer just holding the ground. King Tiger is getting close to these bazooka shots, so is it going to happen? I mean, I've seen it there for a very long time, and I was like, the first thing I thought was a King Tiger is going to die to these bazookas. But whether or not it actually happens, I really hope it does, because it would be hilarious, but yeah, I don't think it will. Sappers here, they are going to be pinned down. Looks like the half-tracks there, just going to run them down. Double bomber coming into the bottom side. That's the 2 DBs with their 4 15 HE power bombs. Going to be just bombing the crap out of the Königstiger. Not really anything to take advantage of that. No AT gun or anything, but still a nice try. Just to force them back for a little while. Okay, Sappers do manage to kill off one half-track but surrender to the other. We can see that the bazooka here was revealed by the Panzergrens running forward, so I'm not sure Tosh is going to lose that King Tiger anymore, which is unfortunate. More Panzergrens are arriving though. They may allow a more strong push on that top side, but yeah, 6 minutes and 10 seconds left on the match until Tarsh wins at this current +3. With his Königstiger and Panther D falling back, there isn't really much he can do against any of these units down here just yet. So yeah, Maensen holding on, but not really sure for what, since this was lost as soon as a King Tiger came in Phase B. Like before that, there was a chance. Like even towards the end of Phase A, if he just started his attack at that moment, then things may have been different, but now it's just too far gone. No M4A 376 with 2 stars is going to save him. Even though those things are also very killer at close range. Like, if you get one of those behind this tree line here, pop it out into the face of a King Tiger, you could probably get a kill. As long as it was close enough. Like, I really, really adore these tanks in Steel Division. I mean, they look cool anyway. I mean, just look at it. But, honestly, the fact that they have the high aim time and the extra AP, and in this case 2-star veterancy, makes them deadly. So damn deadly. Jagdpanzer are still engaging the M4A2 on this top side. But yeah, not really much else to say in this match. I mean, we've got 4 minutes and 40 seconds left, but a lot of Mainson's mistakes were made early on. Now, will Tarsh allow his Panzergrens here to be killed? No, he won't. That's good. Just get them unloaded before they die to the AT. Preferably would have been a little bit sooner there, but it doesn't matter as long as the infantry doesn't get reloaded. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, like just not being aggressive in Phase A, that is your objective going into the game, and I think a lot of people, especially in the tournaments, don't really think about what their objective is with their division. You got to look at it at the start and be like, okay, what am I up against? What's the map? What do I want to do by a certain time in this game? Like, do I want to play defensively early on and then go hard late game, like Tosh was probably thinking, on a map that favoured him in the late game? Or do you want to go aggressive early and have a certain objective that if you don't get to by a certain time, you surrender, right? Because there's probably not too much point playing this out, for example, when you're in such a position, like taking out 2 King Tigers, a Panther D, a Jagdpanzer 4, and a Panzer 4 down this bottom side, or I think it's in the mid. You know, can you get that done before you lose the game? Probably not. However, this bazooka squad is remaining hidden, and I think that bazooka squad dying may have just baited this. It's actually gonna happen. Is it actually gonna happen? Please let it happen. Oh my god, please. Please say Manotha notices this. Oh my god, it's coming in so damn close. It's gonna be showing side armor as well. Please let the bazooka fire. Please. This is crazy. Come on, Manotha. Do it. Don't let your M4A2 die in vain. Engine destroy. Okay, can he get a second one off? He's under a lot of fire. He's under a lot of fire, guys. He gets it. Yes. Bazooka gets the kill. Been sat there the entire game. Beautiful. That's what I like to see. Fantastic. I think Minson redeemed himself with that one. I'm not sure this Sherman crew up here is going to be too happy that the King Tiger was allowed to fire at him. But either way, lives to tell the tale. And they may want to swiftly evacuate this airfield right now. M4A3 did try to engage this Panther D, but didn't really end up on the right end of that gun. DB73 just a little bit too late there for that engagement. and therefore is going to keep those. Well, is going to lose his M4A3 anyway. So yeah, I don't know. It's nice to have that little bit of excitement towards the end there after what has been a rather arduous game of trying to encourage someone through a screen on a game that they've previously played. So yeah, makes me sound quite mad actually. But I mean, there's a lot of points that we have talked about, and another beautiful kill there from a bazooka. Tosh is getting a little bit sloppy towards the end of this one, losing that panther there as well. But yeah, 10 seconds left on the clock. Maybe makes Maenson's score just that little bit better. Otherwise, it probably would have been absolutely dreadful. Imagine if that Panther D and that King Tiger had not gone down. That is, you know, 250 plus, you know, 380. So that is like 500 and no, 630 points extra that he killed. So it would have been on 1,200 losses rather than 1,800, roughly. Math is hard. 3,185 kills. Very, very nice job, Tosh. Minson, need to get more aggressive in Phase A, mate, if you're going to use a second Armoured French in a tournament like this, where it's this division you're going to use throughout the entire tournament. Based on his play in this game, I don't really have much confidence in him using this division moving forwards, but maybe he'll prove me wrong in the lower bracket. Yeah, congratulations to Tosh for moving on to round 2. Minson is going to be dropping down. In terms of kills early on, this M10 really needed to do more work. This was a Phase B kill as well, I think, I'm pretty sure. So you can see the amount of kills that happened on the side of Minson early on. Just really not enough. The M10 was a great choice. I mean, you have the mortars and the M8s, and those are all you need to put the pressure onto the Pak 38s early on, or even the Pumas for that matter. Just put your M10 into a push, get across that airfield as soon as you can, because the longer you wait, the longer it's going to take for a King Tiger to come in. And wow, look at that. A bazooka there. Oh, it killed the Panzergren, which is why it's so far up in the list. I was going to say all of these kills came after the King Tiger. I don't think they did. But yeah, just later on there, the Panther D going down. In terms of losses, well, the Puma early on was allowed to get a lot of kills, and so were these Pak 38s. So Tosh really ending up being the aggressor in Phase A, which was not something I expected to see. But of course, the King Tiger can be coming in there with a very nice kill list. Picking up M10, M4A2, M3A3, Bofors, another M10 in there. And this King Tiger again, taking out a couple tanks, AT gun, mortar, just nothing that those French units could do at that point in the game. This Panther D again, picking up a M4A3 and M4A376. Crazy, crazy stuff. Bit of a slow game there to start, but I think that King Tiger kill made it all worth it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.